connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson, and we got a lot to talk to tonight. Thank God it's only around one thing, and that is, in fact, the NBA Finals. Let me go ahead and get the entire crew in here so we can get started on this beautiful Wednesday night. Of course, I got my girl, Megan Price, 806 Sports, and the Sip Off, my man, Ty Ray, Say What, Say It Again, John Shear, Sideline Sports and Cardiac Kane, and, of course, my man, Alex Fleming, Florida Sun and the Next Gen Sports Network. Good evening to everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hello. What's going on, y'all?
Where's Mike?
Mike will be joining us, I'm sure, soon.
He on CP time, man.
He's on Chris Paul time.
Yes,
relatable.
We know he is. So, you know what? We're going to jump right into this. We are not going to waste any time here tonight on the Sports Arena. Mr. Ty Ray, talk to me, brother, because you, I think, were one of the few people on this panel. Mm-hmm. Well, you, John Shear, Alex Fleming. I'm sorry. I think Megan and Mike might have been the minority in this one.
Right.
Ty, give me your thoughts on what you saw last night in Game 6 and overall. Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the men who I think we're definitely going to talk about. Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton, Lopez. What do you think about last night, bro?
Well, you know, I picked the Suns. When I did pick the Suns, the reason why I picked them was because Giannis was hurt at the time. Nobody really knew. I mean, it looked like a bad injury if you've seen it live. You know, I watched the game. I seen the injury live. It looked bad when I seen it live. So, I mean, I didn't know if he was going to be 100% healthy or not. I mean, obviously, if Giannis is 100% healthy, he's the best player in the series by far. He's a top 5, top 3 player in the NBA, depending on how you look at it, I guess. I mean, he's definitely top 3 in my book. Some people would say differently. But, I mean, he played great. There's nothing you really could say bad about him. I know a lot of people before, the thing was always put a wall around him, made the other guys beat you. He can't shoot free throws. But, you know, last night, I mean, he negated all of that. I mean, he ended all of that. He hit the free throws. Even when there was a wall up, he was hitting mid-range jumpers. He was hitting threes. I mean, and then the defense, like, I don't think we've ever seen a team where your 3 best players all play offense and defense. If you look at most other teams, like if you look at Brooklyn, you might could say KD plays a little bit of defense, but Harden and Kyrie aren't known for defense. Even if I look at the Lakers, LeBron isn't known for defense. You know, AD is. But, I mean, if you look at most teams, I mean, I don't know another team that your best 3 players play defense, and, I mean, they all play it well. I mean, you've seen Giannis. I can't remember the last time we've seen a player of that caliber. Maybe LeBron in Miami flying around blocking shots like that. I mean, he put it all on the line last night. I mean, can't take nothing away from him.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do in a situation where you have the opportunity to close it out at home in front of basically 19,000 people in the stadium, and then 65,000, just basically all of Milwaukee was at the arena last night, outside or inside, watching this, because we know This hasn't happened in 50 years, and Giannis put up a 50 piece on it. So,
and I don't know if it's going to happen for another 50 years.
Well, okay, we're going to get to that. Let me go to Mr. Alex Fleming, a man who has told us a couple of things. He's told us Trappin' ain't dead. He said bully ball is still alive, and he said Giannis. He's been trying to tell us, and apparently we should have listened. Giannis is the best player defensively, which is why he was the defensive MVP. In this entire series. So, Mr. Fleming, with the huge grin, sir, please, the floor is yours.
I just want to say that this Arizona tea tastes so good. As I said before, time and time again, for those who just refuse to listen, Giannis was the man. They had no answer for Giannis. Giannis, once again, was the factor in this series. And I don't know what the hell Kendrick Perkins was saying, that Middleton was Batman. He needed to be drug tested. But as you saw the jump today, he walked that back. For those who are not here, Mike, what happened down in the paint? What happened at the three-point line? Now, both teams shot bad from three. Both did. But I believe Milwaukee shot 6 for 23, while Phoenix was struggling and shot 6 for 27. Booker, mediocre, 8 for 22, whatever. Chris Paul actually showed up, but it didn't matter because everybody else didn't. Because when Giannis is 47.6% of the team's offense and 6 players are in double figures, that means all the role players stood up. Like I've been trying to tell you, if Giannis is that dominant and the rest of the people around him actually show up to play, Phoenix doesn't have a chance. And guess what? Holiday almost had a damn triple-double. Brook Lopez shined, got himself a ring finally. Middleton's hitting clutch shots. And Budenholzer is not getting fired. I already have my tea. Hopefully everybody knows what the hell that means. Hate to say I told you so, but I'm going to leave it short.
All right, let me kick over to John Scheer and Megan Price, because, John, you said, well, Megan, no, actually, let me go to Megan real quick. Because, Megan, you did say this. You said, listen, Milwaukee loses games that you expect them not to lose. And, John, you both said this. But Megan, it seemed as though on Monday night, you – and, I mean, even myself, I will be the first to admit, I was on the Suns are going to find a way to get this done. Even when they were down 13 in the first part of the half, and then they came back to tie the game and actually made it look like a true game, I was like, okay, Phoenix isn't just going to roll over. But
Right.
that second half really showed me a tale of two teams. It showed me what Milwaukee was, and it showed me what Phoenix wasn't. So I want to hear from Miss Megan Price.
I think when you look at Game 6, obviously, Portis had a fabulous game, and we'll get to him later, and his performance and what that meant to him. But I think this, you have to look directly at Giannis, not just that stat line, but everyone else's stat line. Yeah, Drew Holiday almost had a triple-double. Fantastic performance. But he only had 12 points. Middleton, who had 29 points in the previous game, had 17 points this game. PJ Tucker, once again, 0 points. So when I think you look at this win, you have to know how much it meant to Giannis. Like, he literally put the team on his back and was not going to lose. Budenholzer or someone on his coaching staff finally figured out how to adjust to this team in Game 3. And unfortunately, it looked like CP3 did shrink a little bit. Not in this game, not Game 6, but Game 4, he definitely did shrink some. We didn't see a 30-point performance out of him out of the last 3 games. Booker did have 2 40-point games. He looked great, but they're a little inexperienced other than CP3. So this is all Giannis, and you got to congratulate him. I really thought I was one of those that said he was going to have to leave Milwaukee to get a ring, and I was wrong, and I'll admit it.
John Scheer, let me get to you, sir, because 2 games up, I know that Mike, Megan, and even myself at some point were like, okay, Phoenix has got this. It may go 5, it may go 6, it may even go 7. But Giannis had different plans for all of us. Please, sir, give me your assessment of what you saw last night and just what you think overall this means for Milwaukee.
Overall, like I told you guys after Game 2, I said you all know how basketball works. The series doesn't start until the other team gets an opportunity to play on their home court. So it doesn't matter what you do in the first 2 games. Still have to find a way to try and win a game on the other team's court. Now you can win all 4, obviously at home. But anyway, series starts game 3. We all know that. That's why I still believed in the Bucks. And we saw Budenholzer make adjustments, and we saw role players, like you guys said, at home whenever role players are at home in the playoffs, they have more of an opportunity to do well. You get those home cooking calls like Giannis tends to get. But last night, I really thought the game was decided in the second quarter when the Suns won that quarter by, I believe, 18 points. Now, they had a chance to really step on the Bucks there because the Bucks held serve they held, I believe, was within 7 at the half. Now, it may not seem like that much, but after the first quarter they had, you go back to game 5, what the Suns did. They blew their first quarter lead and ended up losing. I kind of sort of saw the same thing with the Bucks after the first quarter. Was hoping they wouldn't let up. They only scored about 11, I believe it was in the second quarter, but they held serve. They were only within 7 at the half. I felt that was a win for them after what the Suns did. I felt the Suns ran out of gas. Devin Booker played amazing at the beginning of the series, but felt they ran out of gas. And like I told you guys the whole series, they live and die by Devin Booker. Devin Booker had his worst game of the series, worst game you could possibly have. And the Suns live and die by him. And that's just the way they are. And it's nothing against Chris Paul, no knock against him, but he's not a guy that's going to give you 50, 14, and 5 to carry the team. He's just not that guy. Now, he did have a few performances this playoffs where it was humongous. I get that, but he's not a guy like Giannis who's just going to carry you night after night whenever the other guys aren't quite stepping up. Giannis can do that. That's my knock against Chris Paul. He's obviously he's going to go in the Hall of Fame, but he's not going to be the guy that when the team is down, he's just going to continuously carry you. He needs those other guys to step up. Giannis, he needs those guys to step up, but he's still going to give you that 50, 14, and 5. So that's my knock against Paul. He always finds a way to come up short. And then we're going to hear, just wait, these next couple of days, you're going to hear about a hand injury that comes out, and they're going to try and give him a little bit of a leeway with that. Just watch and see. That's what's going to happen. It's always an injury.
My only retort to that is, John, I don't think Giannis is going to give us 50 on a consistent basis. Now, he'll give us 27. He'll give us 27, 12, and 14.
Rebounds.
Yeah, but also he gave you 40 in a game and they lost. So,
but he gives you it every time. I mean, whether the other guys are stepping up or not.
But I'm saying, like, he gave you 40 in the game and he lost. And then game 6 wasn't Booker's worst game. His worst game was game 3. What do you have? Right. 10 points? So yes.
I mean, what was he, like 8 for 23 last night?
He shot bad, but he was 4. Really he was like 4-15 in that game, though. I mean, he shot bad in both games, but I would say that the game 3 performance was worse in my opinion. And not only that, I mean, they had a lot of. I mean, I don't think I ever seen that many shots go in and out. Chris Paul had a lot of mid ranges that went in and out.
It was soft.
Let me go ahead and get Alex in here for the final word on this particular subject. But like I said, it's going to be all NBA finals tonight. So, Mr. Fleming, please, if you will, sir.
I agree with Tyree. Booker's worst game was 3 for 14 for 10 points in game 3, but it really didn't matter because they found a way to slow down Booker. That 40 points in game 4 and game 5 don't mean a damn thing if the supporting cast doesn't back you up, Chris Paul. Speaking of Chris Paul, he is the only player in NBA history to lose 4 series up 2-0. Only player. That's not good history. That goes to what John Cheer was trying to preach before the series even started. Oh, he'll get you to the prom. You ain't taking her home because he chokes. And they're screwed if they keep him or if they don't keep him. If they don't keep him, they don't have a point guard that's going to lead them to the promised land in the West, in which they didn't have to deal with Jamal Murray, they didn't have to deal with Kawhi Leonard, and that soft-ass Lakers squad got exposed. If they do re-sign him, now they're over the cap. So somebody in that key piece has got to go. But I actually want to spend time on the champions that John and I were trying to tell y'all about. Giannis took the trophy home, slept with it, did some weird stuff with it. And then when he woke up for lunch, he went to Chick-fil-A and asked for a 50 piece of nuggets, not 49, not 51.
So this is
a 50 piece of nuggets. But the one thing I want to highlight is that Giannis said something that was real. This is for all you LeBron fans. He could have joined a super team. He could have went somewhere and just got his stats and got an easy ring. But no, he stayed in Milwaukee and he made the system work. And he did it. So for all you clowns trying to team up with each other and buy yourself a ring, it don't work that way, bro. Do it the hard way.
But Tom Brady, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna go there.
I think that
No.
because the day after Giannis says that, we hear reports about how the Lakers are trying to get Russell Westbrook and
I mean,
add more super team. I just think that's
it is what it is. But I will say this: I'm not about to sit here and act like Milwaukee dominated the series. Game 4 and Game 5 came down to one possession at the end of both games. I mean, if one of those, I know we're not in the business of what ifs. I'm not saying that, but I'm not about to act like they grabbed it and ran away with it. That didn't happen.
Right.
I mean, Game 4 and Game 5 came down to one possession. You know what I mean? Game 1 and Game 2, Phoenix won. Game 3, they got smacked. Because, I mean, Devin Booker had 10 points. Game 4 and Game 5 come down to one possession. It was points in times last night where that game I thought was, but it just seemed like every time they did, Giannis, when they was fouling him, he was going to the free throw line. I mean, he was what, 16 or 17, 15 or 17. Yeah. He shot crazy from the free throw line. So I'm not about to act like Milwaukee dominated them. I mean, that most definitely didn't happen. Did Giannis have a dominating performance? Yes. But I mean, also, I know y'all saying that Drew Holiday had a triple-double last night. He shot terrible.
He shot terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, he shot.
It was abysmal.
No, 12 points. 12 points.
No, but
Okay,
I'm saying
so-
not only was it 12 points, though, he shot, was it last night? Oh, he shot 4 and 19.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he shot terrible. But I mean, I got to give it to Drew Holiday. Even when he's not hitting, he finds a way to impact the game, and that can go out to a lot of young players that play the game today. Impact the game in any way you can, whether it's offense, defense, wherever. But I mean, he impacted the game. I can't take that away from him. So
basically, if I'm reading from everybody, this was not a series in which one team dominated the entire series,
Right.
but Giannis Antetokounmpo and the rest of the Milwaukee Bucks, but primarily for this moment, I'm gonna say Giannis earned his championship last night. Is that a fair assessment?
He looked like the back-to-back MVP that he is.
Right.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
I mean,
mean,
you couldn't
Like
do
Tyrese
any
said,
more than he did.
No, you can't. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying.
Right.
He played amazing. I mean, I can't. I don't think. I'm trying to remember. Maybe when LeBron was in the losing finals, and I'm not a LeBron fan, but maybe when LeBron was in against the Warriors, he maybe had a better. He may. I mean, wait, you consider it, you might say he had a better performance, but I've never seen anybody back-to-back 40-point games, 50 points on a closeout. And shoot 60-70%. I didn't see. You said Bob Pettit?
Yeah, he said Bob Pettit.
I didn't see Bob Pettit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm saying, what my eyes, this is like the best finals performance that I remember. That I remember. You know what I mean?
Well, so okay, all right. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that at a later time. I want to keep it going because I have to ask this question. So now that Giannis got his ring, and now that the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA world champions, does Giannis stay in Milwaukee? Because you already know, we've seen it happen. Gentlemen who have won the NBA championship the following season, Kawhi Leonard, have moved on to other places. Does Giannis stay in Milwaukee? Megan Price.
Oh, go ahead.
I think the Kawhi incident is completely different. We all knew he wanted to be in California. It was the way he went about the trade, and that's why Pop sent him to Canada. So, that I feel like that's different. But I do believe Giannis stays in Milwaukee. I think he's a very loyal guy. And I think his comment that Alex brought up, that he did it for the team that drafted him, I think that speaks to a lot of his loyalty right there. And he just signed his extension, a Supermax deal for $228 million for 5 years in December. So he's in Milwaukee for a while.
Okay. All right. Ty, is he staying?
Yeah, Giannis has no reason to leave the Bucks. He asked for help. They got him Holiday. I mean, he'd be a fool to leave. Like, he's not going anywhere. He's not even a disloyal type of person like some people are. I mean, even though I do feel like sometimes we give guys a hard time, but you got to make the best decision for yourself.
Yes.
If I'm at ESPN and I'm not happy at ESPN, and I can go at Fox Sports and make the same amount of money or make more money I'd be a fool not to consider it. So I mean, I don't fault guys for going anywhere they want to go. It's your life. Who would want to stay in Toronto? No disrespect to anybody that does, but I mean, why would I want to stay in Toronto when I own a home in LA in Kawhi's case or other guys' case? I mean, if Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee, I've never been to Milwaukee. I'm sure it's a great city, but if he wants to stay there, more power to him. But I don't think he's not going nowhere.
All right. Well, Ty, I know you got to ride out, my brother. I thank you so much for joining us here tonight. But before you leave, he has graced us with his presence, so you know we have to hear from him really quick. Mr. Michael Carrot-Tenuto joining us. So, Mike?
I was a little late. Sorry about that. Yeah, I saw that Arizona iced tea. Is that Arizona iced tea?
It's Arizona something. I don't know what's in that tea, but he's sipping it tonight.
Oh, nice.
It's
Well,
an Arizona
how can
Tea
Giannis,
energy, and it tastes so good.
Oh, nice. How can Giannis go anywhere when he already signed his extension last year? So,
I was just asking the question because of what we've seen. We've seen it happen before, and people have found a way to.
I mean, he wants to stay. I mean, in his press conference last night, I'm sure you guys touched on it, but him saying I could go somewhere, play my part, be a super team, which is taking a shot at a lot of guys, which I love. But yeah, no, I mean, Middleton's been there with them. They traded for Holiday. He's staying. So, I mean, yeah, if the Nets are healthy next year, I mean, my uncle and I were going back and forth today because, you know, my uncle who's in Florida as well, but being from Jersey, he let me know that Arizona sports lost again. I go, I mean, I wanted him to win. I said, but you act like it's football. So but he was just saying, he goes, it has gotten more ridiculous over the years how all these super teams are formed, and he appreciated how Giannis took a shot at all those guys. And as much as he'd like to see the Nets win with that team, he would love to see him, you know, lose to a full strength Milwaukee next year too.
All right, fair enough. So, John, Alex,
I just want to say one thing.
Sure.
Now I get to say for a full year, go Bucks.
Is that for football or basketball?
It's both. As according to Alex Fleming, it's both. All right. So Alex Fleming, John Shear, Giannis, he's staying. Is this the general consensus that I'm getting from everybody? He's not going anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no way he's leaving. I mean, like Mike said, he expressed how loyal he is. Clearly, he's a loyal guy. He doesn't like these super teams. I mean, the only two teams I think we can remember in history that didn't have to go and get help was Kawhi's Raptors and Giannis's Bucks. I mean, other than that, you had to go and get a super team basically to do
Spurs,
it. I was thinking about it. Spurs had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili.
Nobody knew who Tony Parker was.
Nobody definitely knew who Tony Parker was.
Who knew? Nobody knew
one
who
of the greatest coaches of all time.
But
Giannis won it with Mike Budenholzer. Stop.
Hey, Dirk didn't want a super team either. Somebody said that in the comments. That's true too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dirk.
Well,
I'm a Heat fan, so I try and forget that.
I bet you do. It's probably still keeping you up at night.
It does.
John, have you forgotten about football since 1972 then?
Look,
okay, we're moving on.
We are moving
on.
You're
Football
fresh off
season.
the Suns' loss, and you talking trash.
Listen, that's what he does. This is Michael Carrot-Tenuto.
Hey, lost fair and square. Alex, did I make any excuses to you last night? Did I make any excuses? No. I just said I'll playoffs long. My only gripe is the officiating across all the playoffs is crap. Giannis got breathed on and got foul calls. Yes, Chris Paul had a bad game 5, but it wasn't his fault last night. I make any excuses. They lost.
No, Booker was terrible last night.
I don't know. I will say this though. If you're DeAndre Ayton, when Giannis is coming at you full speed like that, and you got your hands up, what more can you? I mean,
yeah, but
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Ty, here's the thing. I agree with you 100%. I kept saying that, but I mean, look what the Bucks were doing to him. Granted, you're running a little bit of a different offense, and Ayton's not bringing the ball up the court, but you got to put a body on Giannis, bang him around a little bit. I'm not saying he's not going to go around him, but when Ayton challenged him down low, when he finally in the second half was starting to bang around with him,
got into foul trouble
a little bit. But look at some of those shots that Giannis took. He hit some jumpers over him. I'll tip my cap to him. He hit a 3-pointer like I've been saying all series long. Let him shoot threes. He hits threes and beats you. I'll tip my cap to him because most times he's going to shoot bricks. So he hit shots, but when Ayton actually changed his shot a little bit, it showed him, oh wow, I can do this. Too little, too late. But again, I mean, hey, they had a hell of a season. They got to the finals out of the West where nobody thought they would. And again, I don't want to hear.
Hey, they should have played my boy Frank the Tank a little more.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, I want to talk about him, but before we get to him, Mike, let's talk about Bobby Portis, because I think he was key on this team winning last night. So, Megan Price, let me come to you. How much love are we giving Bobby Portis for his contribution last night to the success and to the championship of the Milwaukee Bucks?
I think you have to go back to the bubble and realize that he wasn't invited and how depressed he was about not being at the bubble. I think that was a motivator for him, and he just knew he had to bring it. Brook Lopez did okay last night, but he wasn't exactly up to par, in my opinion. He's definitely aging, and I think you got to give Bobby Portis his flowers. He was called for 2 questionable fouls, one in the third, one in the fourth. He was so emotional that he ended up drawing a tech in that one in the fourth. But he also broke up a verbal altercation between CP3 and the ref, Scott Foster. So I think his heart was absolutely in the right place. Like, he just wanted to win it the right way. And 16 points, 10 of those in the first half, like, you definitely got to give him his flowers. That was a huge performance for him coming off the bench.
Yeah. Alex Fleming, talk to me about Bobby Portis and his contribution, because sometimes it's those key players. It's those unsung heroes. If I can coin one of your articles, sir, it's one of those uncut gems that maybe we didn't recognize until last night.
Chicago should be kicking themselves in the teeth for letting go of Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis was drafted by the Chicago Bulls and was very productive. And then somehow, some way, he gets into a fight with one of his teammates, who is no longer with the team as well. And he gets shipped around like he's somebody's bad suitcase. Finds a home as a backup big in Milwaukee, plays key minutes when Giannis goes down against the Atlanta Hawks, and is the difference maker when it comes to boards and point production against the Phoenix Suns. Now he's a champion, going to get a contract extension, and the world is his because no one expected anything from him, because nobody expected him to do anything on this Milwaukee squad. And now, besides Giannis, he's the man. Oh, and by the way, I'm glad Megan mentioned Scott Foster and Chris Paul. Did you know that games that Scott Foster referees Chris Paul is 0-13 now?
Yeah.
I just find it a little bit fascinating.
Oh, it's very fascinating. Did you see that 3-minute conversation they had before the game? Did you guys see that in pregame? Like, they showed a video, and like him and Foster were literally, I mean, it was a calm talk. They were just going back and forth, but Foster was talking to him for like almost like 2 minutes. And that's the thing. You do have to get, and look, as much as fans and I can watch and we can all watch and say things, I mean, as players, you have to get out of it. It's just a frustrating part of, again, and with Bobby Portis, Eric, I give Bobby Portis credit. But again, I mean, he was averaging like 5 points a game in the series. I know he didn't play 2 games against the Knicks. Yes, he did come up big. But to me, he's just a taller Patrick Beverley. I mean, he's an instigator. He's not as good of a shooter as Beverley. I won't say that. But what his role, I mean, he played it well. The thing I don't get, and yeah, I'm with Alex, though. I never understood. I mean, yeah, guys get in fights all the time. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, I know it's basketball and football, obviously training camps are over. Can you imagine if guys got cut in football practices for getting in fights? Like, we probably wouldn't.
He gave the guy a concussion, though. He gave him a concussion.
We wouldn't even know. What's that?
He gave him a concussion. Yeah.
Oh. Well, he shouldn't have pissed Bobby Portis off then. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, if he started it, then he shouldn't. No, it doesn't make it right. But I'm just saying, like, I couldn't believe the Bulls cut him either, because I thought, I'm like, wow, like, he's going in the right direction. But I mean, look, the fact you got Drew Holiday, I mean, and to me, that was the X factor. I know we definitely picked on Middleton and Holiday enough, saying that they didn't, points-wise, do it back-to-back games. But look, Holiday's defense was the best on Paul, maybe outside of the Clippers, but the Clippers just got abused, as we all saw in the pick and roll. And yes, to Milwaukee's credit, they played it a teeny bit. I mean, they didn't play it crazy a lot better. The Suns were still getting up shots. I mean, the first 5 minutes of that game was ugly. I mean, neither team could hit a shot. They both looked like they were playing a preseason game. I'm like, this is game 6 of the finals. Will somebody wake up? And then Giannis hit that shot and they went from there. But I look at Bobby Portis' role. I mean, without somebody like Drew Holiday starting and what he means defensively, I just think that that, yeah, I mean, it's key, and you want that off the bench. You can't lose that off the bench, which goes to my point of Monty Williams. Why do you not put Cam Payne more in the third quarter? Guy had 10 points. Guy was getting to the rim at will. And all of a sudden, like, he comes in for like 3 more minutes and then it's a ghost town. Like, you need to trust what you've done all year because players have performed. Fine, if he misses a bucket or two, sub him out after a minute. But
You're not bitter.
yeah, there's certain things there, but yeah. What's that?
You're not bitter.
He said you're not bitter, Mike.
I mean, no, look, I'm bitter to the refs, and you know that. But
yes.
But Alex, it could have been Brooklyn and the Nuggets, and I would still say the same damn thing to you about the officiating because it's annoying as hell. Call it like that in the regular season. Then let's open it up. It's like I love the NCAA tournament. You guys know, Eric. You know I love college hoops. But when you get like a Big Ten officiating crew reffing a game between, say, a Mountain or a Pac-12 team and an SEC team, Big Ten officials let a little bit more contact go. Everybody knows that. But these players aren't used to it. So then the refs get in their head. They're in their head because they're pissed because they feel they should get that foul. Now, these are pros. I get it. It's a step up. But it could have been anybody. And I say it every year. This is the only thing that deters me from the playoffs. I just say they go to they put sensors on the players, get rid of referees. And if the sensor goes off really hard, then light it up as a foul because you change the whole game. And that's the frustrating part. I love seeing guys talent. I love seeing guys like Giannis in the open court. I don't like seeing, I'm with you. I don't like seeing 55 free throws a night from any team. But at the same time, like if you're gonna let them play, call it both ways. That's all I'm saying. And
all right. I get you. Let me get John Scheer the final word on this, and then we are going to move on about Bobby Portis. John Scheer, please.
The role players stepped up. I mean, I was looking at PJ Tucker, 36 minutes, and he had 0 points on 1 shot. So he didn't step up. He had, I believe, 6 boards, but he didn't step up. And then he took a picture afterwards, like he's some kind of big shot champion. Like, good for you, you're a champion, but it wasn't you that got you the championship. So it was guys like Giannis, guys like Middleton that stepped up. PJ Tucker didn't do much. Now, I just wanted to touch on PJ Tucker because he didn't do much. 1 shot, no points in 36 minutes. So don't talk all that trash. Anyway, I mean, the role players stepped up like they needed to. Game 6. If it went to Game 7, the Bucks weren't winning the series. I thought the winner of this game was winning the series. Obviously, whether it be the Bucks or the Suns, the winner of that game was winning it because Game 7 goes to Phoenix. Those role players aren't doing their part in Phoenix, and Phoenix would have wiped them out in Game 7. That's what I believe. I don't think you would have got Batman, in Middleton and all those guys. I don't think you would have got that. So, and I did want to touch on that. Neither of these teams are getting back to the finals next year. You got to get a little bit of luck to get there, but you had all these injuries that you stepped over, and
1,000% agree. 1,000%.
Can't take anything away from either team because I'm not going to do that. That's not fair. You just play what you're given. But next year, neither of these teams are getting back. The Bucks aren't getting that lucky with all these injuries in the way. I mean, they had trouble at first with the Hawks with an injured Trae Young, and they had they still had problems with an injured Nets team. I think if the Nets are healthy, they beat them in 5 easily, gentleman sweep. So I don't think the Bucks are getting back. Not knocking their championship, but they ain't getting back. And I don't think the Suns are, especially with the cap issues, like Alex said.
Put a pin in it. Conversation
finals.
Conversation for another time. We're going to take a real quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk about the Phoenix Suns and what does this mean now that they have they've lost. So what does this mean for them and this team? More with the Sports Arena in just a moment.
Generations Physical Therapy has been the Tri-State's leader in physical therapy services for over 20 years. And now we have a convenient location right in the heart of the capital city of Charleston, just off I-64. With convenient parking and flexible hours, your access to physical therapy is second to none. Plus, Snap Fitness is also inside with 2 floors of gym equipment and sports enhancement training through A-Game Sports Performance. So whether you're needing hands-on physical therapy or looking to get results in our gym, our family's ready to help yours. Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness. Multiple services, multiple locations. Experience you can count on.
and welcome back into the Sports Arena. Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside the entire crew. Let me go ahead and get them all in here. John Scheer from Sideline Sports and Cardiac Kane, Alex Fleming, Florida Sun, and Next Gen Sports Network, Megan Price, 806 and the Sip-Off, and Michael Caratenuto, fresh off licking his wounds, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. So I want to transition over to the Phoenix Suns and very simply ask this question. Alex Fleming, does Chris Paul retire after this season?
He need to retire. Y'all must have forgot. This is the same old song and dance that he had in Houston, in Lob City, in NOLA, and OKC. Bro, I'm not a Chris Paul hater, but you're the only man in NBA history to lose 4 series up 2-0. Bro, you choking harder than the chicks who work for Bang Bros. You don't need to be playing basketball no more, bro. I don't want to hear nothing about you being in the top 5 point guards. I don't want to hear nothing about you being a Hall of Famer. And I'm sick and tired of you bullying people like you did Doc Rivers' son because you don't get your way. Now, look, you, unlike LeBron James, took young talent and formed it and took them to the finals. And what did you do when you led them to the promised land? You took all the water in the desert and they dried out. And your Game 4 performance was pathetic. I say you probably go to another team that could actually use you as a backup and you retire off of the security. And you know what? I'm going to take the line from a guy who doesn't know anything about basketball. Chris Paul, career over.
Wow. Megan Price.
Okay, well, I agree with his sentiment, but I disagree with all the points. I do think that it's time to hang it up. I do think he's a Hall of Famer. I do think he's a great point guard. And I do think Austin Rivers sucks. Like, he was a crybaby, and he's definitely a locker room problem. So I don't really put that on Chris Paul. Every team Chris Paul goes to, he enhances. Has a great basketball IQ. I mean, he's the president of the Players Association. Like, his basketball IQ is really up there. But I think you got to know when to hang it up, and this is that moment, in my opinion. But I don't think he will retire. I think he'll ring chase for another couple more seasons, hurt his career a little bit, hurt his legacy a little bit, and that'll be the end of it because Phoenix is not about to pay him what he wants. John
Scheer, what does he do?
Well, we heard the reports today, right, about how the Lakers potentially want Chris Paul. Alex alluded to it earlier, how they can't exactly afford his contract. The Suns can't. And LeBron, not even 24 hours off of Giannis winning without a super team, already is vying for more super teams. So we could potentially see Russell Westbrook or Chris Paul go to the Lakers, according to those reports we heard today. So he's not going to retire. He already said after the game last night, he said, "I'm not retiring. I'm not done yet." So we can nip that in the butt right now. So I think he goes to another team. I think he ends up on the Lakers somehow. Yeah, because that's what LeBron wants, and LeBron gets what he wants.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, okay. First of all, Alex, you like numbers. Last year, Oklahoma City had a 0.02% chance to get to the playoffs. And before the season was shut down, they had won like 8 out of 9, 9 out of 10, something like that. So, and they were in like the 7-8 spot. They were battling. They go to the bubble. He gets them into the playoffs. Comes to the Suns. They get Jay Crowder to come. The season is what it was. Look, did he have some bad games? Yes. They're not in the finals without Chris Paul, and that's a fact. Other fact is, I think for next year, I do think he'll be back here. I just don't know because the Suns, I think, control the option. Because I was listening today, they were saying it. So I think he is back one more year with Devin Booker and Crowder. I know they were talking about Payne and or Johnson. Saric is obviously going to be gone for the whole season. I mean, if he came back, it wouldn't be till the playoffs. And then how effective would he be coming into the playoffs? So that's answered there. But yeah, I mean, with Payne, with Johnson, but I mean, you obviously have Booker locked up. You have Ayton locked up. So, I mean, yeah, there are sometimes I think it's not even about retiring. I think, again, the rotation needs to be so where he's not playing, averaging, 35 minutes a game in the regular season or, 40 minutes a game. So I think he comes back, but I'm with John seeing the reports. I know, because obviously I don't think Lillard ends up with the Lakers. There's no way Damian Lillard, especially after Giannis's statement last night, because I think that struck the one person it struck outside of LeBron James feeling blasted and not caring and going after Chris Paul, like John said, is Damian Lillard. So it would be interesting to see. I mean, if he did end up with the Lakers, I would kind of be surprised because, again, to John's point or to Alex's point, he'd be coming off the bench. So,
okay.
I mean, I don't think he'd be starting, and you're only going to get one or the other. So if Russell Westbrook ends up with the Lakers, then Chris Paul obviously wouldn't. But I think he's back one more year. And I think, again, the Suns, will they get the number 2 seed? Maybe not, but they're definitely a playoff team with that core. I think Ayton will only get better and won't be as, I'll have to say it now, as soft as Alex saying he is. But maybe he puts on a little muscle and learns how to bang around a little bit. But I think
Mike,
Chris Paul
hold that thought.
benefited him.
No, hold that thought, because there was a gentleman who said he wanted to chime in on this, so I want to give him his opportunity. This is a gentleman that we know from the NFL carousel. He goes by the Playmaker. Darnell, good evening, sir. How are you? As soon as he gets off mute, we got him.
He's upset over Cam Akers injury.
What's good, man? How are you?
You see, John. You ain't have to say that. You ain't have to bring Cam Akers up, okay? I still got a whole nother month left before we figure this out. All right.
All right. So Darnell, you want to talk about this? So I'm gonna give you your moment to chime in on this situation, sir. Please, I'm gonna give you the floor.
All right. Here's the thing. Everything everybody said about Chris Paul, legitimate. I'm not gonna sit here and rebut anything we gotta say. Here's the thing, though. Like Alex, you said, he took a young team because it's been a decade before the Suns even made it back to the playoffs. And to go on this type of run with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton showed a lot. Now, he didn't show up in the finals as we thought he should. Let's just be real. But what does that do? If he comes back and continues to grow with DeAndre Ayton and continues to work with Devin Booker, they already know the feeling now. They know what it's like to get there. They don't want it that, especially Devin Booker. If Devin Booker has really worked with Kobe Bryant and is embodying the Mamba mentality, Devin Booker gonna come back hungrier. And having Chris Paul back is gonna make him even hungrier. Okay. I won't count Phoenix out.
I won't count them out either, Darnell, but I got to ask you this question, Playmaker. What is the one thing we know about the Western Conference when it comes to the NBA? That is the more powerful, the more dominant conference. You can't just slide in it under 500 or 500 and think you're going to get an 8 spot and just kind of wiggle your way into the postseason. You have to be one of these top tier echelon teams. So with a healthy Los Angeles, both Clippers and Lakers, with a even better Golden State, in my opinion, you know that Portland's going to come gunning for people. You know Denver's going to do the same.
Hold up on Portland, because we don't know about Dame Dollar. We do not know about Dame Dollar.
I think, to Mike's point, that I think what he said last night, I think fueled Damian Lillard to remain in Portland and just take the team, because Giannis proved that you don't need to form a super team. Mm-hmm. Giannis proved that with the cast of characters that he was dealt, I like to treat this like spades. This was the hand he was dealt. I'm going to play this hand, and I'm going to show you that I can beat you with this hand that I've been dealt. Mr. Fleming, please go ahead, get in there.
Okay, all right. I'm not disagreeing with you, but like I've been saying and I've been preaching, this year it's been a war of attrition. Let's take a good hard look at the way the path to the finals has went. Milwaukee, they swept Miami. Let's get them out of the way. They were tired. They barely got in. Whatever.
That was payback. That was payback.
That was payback. Yes, that was payback. Now they had to deal with the Nets, Harden, and Irving down. I think if they stay healthy, we're not even talking about Milwaukee. And then you got to think about ATL. Young, inexperienced, shouldn't have even have been there, but they ended up there and they didn't have to deal with Trae Young for 2 games. Let's flip the script. Phoenix, get lucky every chance. They bounced the bums from LA and the mercenary is about to leave and he does horrible moves. Thank you for that. Then you deal with the Denver squad that didn't have Jamal Murray and had a Aaron Gordon that was getting high instead of getting lifted on the basketball court. Then you deal with the Clipper squad that had PG-13 as the main stars for the Kawhi. So this was all about attrition. Do you think next year with a healthy NBA and a rested squad and a healthy Brooklyn Nets squad, they're going to make it back to the final? Hell no. So let's pump the brakes on that.
I ain't say they'll make it back. I said I ain't counting them out because we didn't even see them doing what they did this year, and they went on the tear.
Okay.
And we all know, no matter what sport it is, it can be football, it can be basketball, it can be baseball. Injuries are going to happen. When does the injuries happen, and who can get through them? Milwaukee and Phoenix got through theirs. Because remember, you talk about Trae Young got injured. Giannis got injured too. And we didn't expect Giannis to play in the finals. And look what he did.
You're right about that. Playmaker, I appreciate you jumping on, brother. I look forward to seeing you on the NFL Carousel, man. Thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you. Y'all have fun.
No worries. So let me go ahead and get the rest of the crew back in here because I want to ask this question. We got to keep it moving. So now that Phoenix lost the finals, what does this say about Monty Williams, Megan Price? Do they keep Monty Williams? Do they keep this nucleus together based off of, Mike, shake your head all you want, but we've seen things happen to where if a coach does not live up to the expectation that is set before them, they're shown the door. So Megan Price, Monty Williams.
You know what? I think in this situation, you absolutely keep Monty Williams. I don't think he should be in the hot seat whatsoever. You know, some teams have other teams figured out, and this didn't happen until Game 3 for the Bucks. And you know, Phoenix had beat the Clippers, or no, Phoenix had beat Utah 2 out of the 3 matchups this year. Hell, Detroit almost swept the Lakers this year, the worst team in the NBA. And I mean, it ended up going to a double overtime. Lakers ended up pulling it out against the Pistons. Like, certain teams just have other teams figured out. And I think this happened by Game 3. They just figured out how to play Phoenix that well. And then I also think that some of the injuries, Sarge's injury played a big role in this as well. And just Giannis wanted it more. I don't think it was on anybody else on the Bucks other than Giannis wanted it more. So I don't think this is Monty Williams' fault. Did he adjust great? No, but I think it was a learning experience for him. And he's only been there 2 seasons.
And that's fair. But we were so quick to say if Budenholzer doesn't win, he had to be let go because of exactly what you said. He didn't make adjustments.
Right, but
then
we saw him lose several games because of that. We only saw this happen in this series with Monty. Literally all year long, they were in the number 2 seed. Like, they only fell to the 3 seed for a little bit. It wasn't very long. Like, literally, Monty played one of the best, or coached one of the best seasons out there. And Budenholzer, not so much. They won in spite of him, not because of him.
All right, fair enough. John Scheer?
I said at the beginning of the series, even when the Bucks lost Game 1, Bucks lost Game 2, I said what they're doing is they're feeling out the Phoenix Suns. I said that's what they're going to do, and then they're going to make the adjustments. That's what you do in the series. You're going to kind of feel each other out for the first game or two, and then you really start to get into the series. Like I said, the series starts Game 3, and that's when it really started. So no, Monty Williams isn't going anywhere. I mean, he did a fantastic job. Difference with Budenholzer is he was a number 1 seed for 2 years in a row, and they flat out stunk both years in the playoffs. This year they were the 3 seed, and they were KD wearing a size 17 shoe instead of size 18 from losing that series and not even getting to the finals, and then him being fired. So that's how close he came to losing his job. I don't think, like I said, I don't think they get back. So Monty Williams shouldn't lose his job. I mean, he did a fantastic job. Nobody expected the Suns to do this and get this far. So you got to give him his credit. There's not even close to getting fired.
All right, fair enough. Really quick, our boy Tyler is asking, when's the NFL carousel start? Tyler, it's going to start week 2 of the NFL season, but be on the lookout. We'll be dropping more information as time gets closer. Shameless plug. But Mr. Fleming, Monty Williams.
Let me be honest. No, he doesn't get fired because it wasn't his fault that his team lost this series. Starridge going down desperately hurt the Phoenix Suns because they didn't have any more big men and they didn't have a backup. And without somebody that you can rely on, you can start picking on DeAndre Ayton. That boy saw, yeah, he could get rebounds. Yeah, he'll score you 12 or 15 points, but he ain't trying to get big. No, he ain't about that life. So they were missing Starridge. Now, however, I will say this about Monty Williams. This is the third time that he has lost the series being up 2-0. Twice it happened with the Pelicans, and now it's happening with Phoenix. So this is what I would do. I would give him a contract extension, but a cheap one. We don't want nobody else having you, but believe me, you are replaceable. You want to stay in Phoenix? You want to deal with these clowns in the Western Conference that wants to build super teams? Okay, but you ain't getting that big boy money because you got out-coached by Budenholzer, bro. Like, for real. That's like losing the flip and above the rim. Bro, that's not good. Now, whether you want to argue that Milwaukee had the better squad or not, they did have the 2-time MVP. Yeah, okay, but you were up 2-0, bro. Up 2-0. And you choked away game 4. You win game 4, you finished this series in Phoenix. Coaching matters. But I keep it.
All right. Mike, you're in Phoenix. So, now that the series is over and the NBA season has officially come to an end, what has been the immediate aftermath of what has transpired? Because I'm sure there were a lot of people in the arena last night, leaving the arena. I'm sure someone was saying, fire Monty. But let me hear from you.
Oddly enough, I didn't hear too much of that. A lot of the fans that call in, because I'll listen to the post-game show on the radio station here, and a lot of the fans were calling in saying that, it's a great season. And one of the reporters that called into the show made a great point. This started for Monty last year in the bubble. I know that's obviously old news, but the only team to go 8-0 in the bubble. Once Chris Paul signed here, Devin Booker and Chris Paul, they mentioned it a million times in the finals, but we knew here in Phoenix, they started working on Jay Crowder saying, we need you. And he came here. So, yeah, Monty's not going anywhere. I heard that today. No, Eric, I wasn't shaking my head at you. I was just laughing because I think it's ridiculous. Like, I get and I even defended Budenholzer, even though I agreed sometimes it didn't look like they made adjustments. But if your team keeps advancing, it's hard to fire. It makes no sense to fire somebody. In Monty Williams' standpoint, it's the second season. Last year was shut down. The Suns were actually, before it shut down last year and then going in the bubble, they were actually on a winning streak. They were right behind Oklahoma City, and they were starting to move up in the standings, and then it got shut down, but they went 8-0 and just missed out. But that was huge for them. It was huge for Booker. It was huge for everybody that was there. Even Ayton. And then you get a Chris Paul. And, to get Coach of the Year, I know he didn't get the NBA award for Coach of the Year, but he got the Writers Coach of the Year. But, yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's done a phenomenal job. He's always been accountable. I don't know if I agree with you guys so much adjustments. They ran their offense. They were going to run the pick and roll, and there were just sometimes it seemed like nobody wanted to take a shot, and then they waited too long. But then when they went up tempo, they started hitting more shots. So I just think that, like I said, my only gripe, everybody's a great armchair coach, as we know, Eric. My only gripe is Campaign needed to play more in the second half of game 4, 5, and 6, and he didn't.
Okay.
And I don't understand. That's the only thing I don't understand. But everything Monty done, there's no way James Jones is letting him go. But again, we'll see. Because I think he's got one more year left on the deal. Or no, 1, 2, 3. No, he's got one more year left on the deal. So They probably wouldn't start talking extension until next year. But I could see him talking extension over in the offseason. I don't see why not.
All right, fair enough. So I just wanted to get that out. Again, shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks and that entire organization. It took y'all 50 years, but you got yourself a championship. You didn't do it with a quote unquote super team. The guy that you drafted was loyal to you and you were loyal to him. You put a cast of characters around him, and he led this team and this city to an organization. So with that, we're going to clips the NBA season. You know, we've got about a little over a month and change left before the NFL season starts, but we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. The WNBA, I'm sure we'll get into some baseball. I do want to continue the conversation about the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks not getting back to the NBA Finals. I think that's going to be a very interesting conversation that we have here on the Sports Arena. So y'all, please stay tuned. For my man Ty Ray, Alex Fleming, Florida Sun, Next Gen Sports Network, John Shear, Sideline Sports and Cardiac Kane, Mike Caratenuto, Believe in the Pac-12, and as always, our girl, Miss Megan Price, 806 in the Sip-Off, your man Eric Wilson. We will talk to you guys on Monday night. Hey, as always, everybody be safe. We love y'all, and we'll see you. Peace.